All right, 1 2 1 2 in the place to be. What's up, everybody? It is that time once again for another edition of the In the Dungeon program. How you doing out there? My name is Frank Red, and who are you? I'd like to know. And thank you for joining the program. I really appreciate it. Wow, I'm gonna try to be a forward-thinking talk show host tonight and promote the show. So please hit the like button from the start. We're going to try to get over double-digit likes tonight for the first time. We haven't done that yet. If you like the show, subscribe to it as well. It certainly helps. And I'll try to do my part by offering what I think is some interesting content for you to enjoy and give you the opportunity to add to the program by putting your thoughts and comments in the chat section. With that said, we've had quite the busy week in the world of sports, entertainment. I am so excited to talk to you tonight about a movie that I saw this weekend. It's called Day of the Fight. I would say right now the best movie that I've seen all year, and I'm going to promote the hell out of it. But it also has a tie-in to what I want to talk about as well. And off the rip, we're going to talk about the Golden State Warriors going down to the Dallas Mavericks tonight, 143 to 133. It wasn't a bad loss. It was a tough loss, but it was not a bad loss. The Mavericks played better than the Warriors. The Mavericks are an excellent team. Went to the finals last year. Last night, I was going back and forth with a couple of guys who I'm friends with on Twitter who wanted to talk to me about Klay Thompson. And they started to give me stats about how he's shooting his lowest shooting percentage and he's not shooting from three and all this other crap. And I'm like, I don't look at stats. I look at the games. I watch the players. I consider the history. Klay Thompson is never going to be vintage Klay Thompson, but he doesn't have to be. But nobody in the world understands what it feels like to be Klay Thompson in a moment that matters. And he put that on display tonight. Was it a good decision for the Warriors to ultimately let him go? Yes, it was. But that dude can still play. That guy is still a sniper. Don't get it twisted. He's a player. And he's going to help the Dallas Mavericks in the biggest moments this year. Not on a Tuesday night when his ankle is bothering him, his knee is bothering him. No. He was brought to Dallas for two reasons. To exhibit leadership, to talk in the locker room about what it feels like to be a champion, along with Kyrie, and then hopefully perform in the playoffs. That's why he was brought to Dallas. I don't want to hear about his stats, because the stats don't matter. We're going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers, where they are at this point. The prospects of making the playoffs are gone. They're 6-8. They got 3 more games. They got a tough game against Miami on the road. At this point, if you're a 49er fan, I think you just want to see them play well. Now, after a couple of days, all the chatter online, on radio, on television, I've been thinking a lot about DeVondre Campbell. And I got a take that's probably a little different than most people. And I'm comfortable doing that because I think I'm not speaking based on emotion. I can offer you some insight what it feels like to be on a team, to have loyalty among your teammates, to show up for your teammates. I can also tell you what it feels like not to be a part of the group. And everybody handles things differently. For the record, I would have played. Okay? I would have played. But there was a lot of stuff leading up to that point that I think we can have an intelligent conversation about. And I'm going to attempt to do that. We're also going to talk about the Heisman Trophy winner. Travis Hunter. I feel bad for the young man at Boise State. Phenomenal season, best running back in the country. But Travis Hunter's story was better. He had a better story. He had a story that they're going to be talking about for 50 years. They're going to make grainy videos about him that kids in future generations look at and go, wow, what about Travis Hunter, the guy I've never seen play? They're going to look at his videos like we look at Jim Brown's videos, and try to imagine how good was Jim Brown. We know he was the best, but how good was he? It's funny to me when people talk about Michael Jordan in the past tense. You're either too young, you haven't seen him play, you caught him at the tail end of his career. LeBron's better, he's my GOAT. Steph's just... I just laugh because fortunately, I played against Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is the best player in the history of basketball. At his best, nobody was better. Wow, what a player. I'm also going to talk about, I mentioned it a little earlier, the movie Night of the Fight. It has a little Bronx Tale effect to it. For those who've seen the movie Bronx Tale, a little Rocky Marciano to it. It is a brilliant movie. I'm going to talk about that. I also want to talk about Bill Belichick saying, NFL, if you don't want me, I don't want you either. He goes to North Carolina. I think he's going to be very, very successful there. He's going to have a nice run because essentially college football is professional football now. The difference is these kids have to act like they're going to college, going to class, a lot of them. And I don't want to disrespect all of them because some of them actually get a great education. They play sports. They do what the model of college sports is supposed to do. Educate young people and prepare them for life while providing entertainment for students, fans, and opportunities for themselves. So I don't want to shortchange that because most kids actually graduate. Over 70%, 75% of the kids graduate. So I'm going to big them up. All right. That's what I want to talk about. If you got some things that you want to talk about that might be a little different, then feel free to speak your piece in the comment section. Right now, I want to go out and talk to the great Vicky. She says, hi, Frank. The Warriors didn't look engaged tonight. One of those games. The Bills beat the second best team in football along with the KC. The Bills need the 49ers defense on their team. They are a juggernaut, and they can play defense on occasion. Watch out. The Bills would be better than anyone. The Bills are good. The Bills are good. They have the potential to lose in the playoffs, though. I don't think they're gonna make the Super Bowl. I don't, because I think that leading up to the Super Bowl, inclement weather is going to be a factor. Notwithstanding how they ran up and down the field against the 49ers, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to have to win some close games. Not that they can't do it, but they're not my pick to come out of the AFC. Just not. Now you go, well, who's better? KC knows how to win. It might be Baltimore's year. I would love to see Pittsburgh come out of the AFC, but their margin for error is too small. They're good. They're formidable. But even today, when they had that costly fumble, when the score was 20-13, and Philly went back down and scored, you knew they were going to come back for from a 2-touchdown deficit. So they got to play perfect football. I don't think they can do that. Andrew the Goat says, Warriors are not a good team. Okay. They don't look good right now. They're 2-8 the last 10 games. The Warriors look like an awful team tonight. No, they did not look like an awful team. Please explain yourself, all right? The Warriors are playing like, come on, man. How? They scored 133 points against a team that scored 143. Now, I don't know if you saw Draymond's press conference, but his press conference was telling about the Warriors. And basically, you know, he's not starting now. I think it was also kind of a little shot to Steve Kerr saying, okay, so you want to mix this pot up and try your new combination and all the other stuff, but we can lose games in the first quarter. If I'm out on the court, we stand a better chance of being competitive against great teams. And he's absolutely right. He is absolutely right. So this whole Draymond can't play center, he's too small, I want to limit his minutes crap, is pretty much out the window until you go get a center who can play successful basketball. I didn't mention the Warriors traded for Dennis Schroeder. Schroeder. I said Dennis Schroeder. Last night. I think it's an excellent move. And I think they had an opportunity to get a quality player. I also think that the Kerr-Pods love affair was starting to boil over and cause some problems on the team. I believe that. I have no intel, but I'm a coach. I've been on a team, and sports are literally the only meritocracy that we know of. That's it. And even politics start to seep into sports as well. But you cannot run a guy out there who's playing not well, and beyond not playing well, he could be a priest for all I know. But he has a certain level of arrogance on the court. There's a difference between confidence and arrogance. You can't be the 19th player in the first round, have moderate success. He was first team all rookie. He has potential. I do not root against him. I root for him. But I've been watching basketball for 30 years. First and second year players do not talk to referees as much as he does. And it was only a matter of time before he got checked. So as much as Dennis Schroeder coming to the Warriors was to help the team, it was also a message, I think, to Brandon Podzinski saying, yo, dude, you got potential. You're in one of the best organizations in all the sports. Keep your head down and go to work and become a player, because right now you're not a player. And no matter how much your coach tries to defend you and have your back, you got to get it done on the court against the best players in the world. It's not a game. Remember when Clay got traded and they would interview Podzinski and he would talk about, well, yeah, Clay's not here and I'm going to have to take upon more responsibility. And I'm like, really? I'm like, dude, go out and do it. Stop talking about it. Do you know how hard this game is? I had nothing to do last night. Well, so I turned on a G League game. I was watching the Santa Cruz Warriors against the Clippers G League affiliate. Talk about a different game. Oh my God. It makes you appreciate the NBA when you watch like minor league basketball. It is amazing how good NBA players are. I might have seen one guy the whole night who I thought could actually play in the NBA right now. Maybe one guy. One guy. That was it. Andrew the Goat says, my question is, when are the Warriors gonna win more games than just one? Like, I'm sick of this. Okay. Give Dallas some credit, all right? Dallas went to the finals. Dallas got their butts kicked the first time they came. And they wanted to send a message tonight. And Luka is in better shape. Now, with that said, Andrew, you would expect the Warriors to beat most teams playing on their home court. And although the Warriors played hard, I thought, they didn't play smart early in the game, getting down by that many points. Then they started to double Luka, they doubled Kyrie, but it was too late at that point. They were climbing uphill. So I think that you're right in this sense. They need to have a better strategy. They need to have a better strategy. And hopefully getting Dennis Schroeder out here as soon as possible is going to help them, because he's one of the best on-ball defenders in the NBA. And that's really where they're hurting, because when they put GP2 in the game, he has an effect on the defensive side of the court. But offensively, at this point, he is abysmal. He's missing shots that, like, high school players make. Wing jumpers with nobody guarding you. I love GP2. Hopefully he can figure it out. When he was at his best, he would knock down the corner three at probably a 35, 38% clip. He's not even making the corner three right now. So there's some key points in the game that he's on the floor when he's stalling the offense because the ball finds him. It's a shame. I hope he snaps out of it. These are not hard shots. Vicky says there's another movie coming out about a woman boxer winning a gold medal. One of them is coming out on Christmas Day, and I'm gonna go check that out. But Vicky, Day of the Fight is a phenomenal movie. Warriors are not better than the Dallas Mavericks. I would say you're right. I would say they're not better than Dallas Mavericks, but they can beat the Dallas Mavericks. They've already beat them. So, I mean, when I look at, the top 6 teams potentially in the Western Conference, I can see the Warriors being one of those top 6 teams. I can see the Dallas Mavericks being the top 14. It doesn't really matter. What matters is, are you a full participant in the playoffs from the start? To do that, you got to be one of the top 6 teams. This play-in stuff is dangerous. It's dangerous. Nobody really wants to be in that position. You want to be among the top 6 teams. So I think that's what the Warriors are working for. They're working to be one of the top 6 teams. The Warriors have to, they got to focus in on what they need to do and keep it basketball. Like, I think the Warriors lost games this year by putting Jonathan Kuminga on the bench. I heard Chris Mullin talking about it tonight in the postgame show. He said this about Jonathan Kuminga. Like the 3 o'clock train coming through the station on time every day. When Jonathan Kuminga plays 30 minutes a game, he averages 20 points. It's not rocket science. When Jonathan Kuminga plays 30 minutes a game, he averages 20 points and 5 rebounds. What else do we need to figure out? Why is this guy on the bench? Andrew Wiggins is playing like an all-star. That dude, right now, Andrew Wiggins is the comeback player of the year in the NBA, to me, which is a valuable award to obtain. I'm so proud of that guy right now. He's playing his ass off. You know, when I look at Curry, Schroeder, Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green, I'm willing to go with that lineup. In spite of the challenges around size, that's the best lineup. And put it in Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s hands to go out and get a big who can play. Not a stiff. Get somebody who can play. Kitchen Handy, what's up? How you doing? Warriors keep down falling. Yeah, the West is tough. The NBA is tough. I don't really focus on the losses. I focus on how they're playing. And there were points in this particular game which the Warriors were playing well against a team that went to the finals last year. Ironically, it's been Stephen Curry who hasn't been great in the clutch. I love Steph. He's awesome. But he has not been clutch. He hasn't been great decision-wise the last couple of games. I think it's a factor of a couple of things. I think he's tired. He's just getting old. He's 36 years old. 36-year-old players don't generally play as well as Stephen Curry is playing, putting up all-star numbers, being the best player on the team, unequivocally. So I'm a big Steph fan, but they know that he needs to be coached up. That's why they got Schroeder, and he needs to be in the best shape that he can possibly be in. Not from him working out, but just in terms of his minutes. Because you watch him sometimes on the court and his rhythm is off. He's breathing hard because he's tired. He's 36. I like this team. I love it. I love watching Jonathan Kuminga play. I think he's a riser, which is why the Warriors don't want to trade him. I don't blame him. But if you're going to keep him, you got to play him. You can't yo-yo this kid. The Warriors will find another way to lose games tonight. Dallas just played better. Vicky says the Bills have to go to KC. Yeah. My man Key says, what's up, Frank? I'm glad John Lynch told Campbell to take a hike. What a childish thing to do. Yep. But I'm going to talk about that, though. I got an interesting take on that. The Warriors defense looked like one of the worst tonight. Yeah, Kerr kind of surprised me. He said that, they had a Luka problem, and that was kind of a pass, kind of what I thought. And you can say that, but you got to get the ball out of his hands. You can't allow a great player like that to get going. I don't think they were double teaming him from the start of the game. And I think they needed to do that. If Kyrie gets 30, so be it. Kyrie's a great player. You can't let Luka get 45. And that's what he did. He got 45 points tonight. You can't do it. He had 26 at halftime. Come on. That's not good defense. As good as he is, that's not good defense. Andrew says, it is pretty sad that the Warriors can't beat Dallas Mavericks at home. Dallas is a good team. Give them respect. Vicky says, Draymond said Pods was starting to act like Poole. Wow. Wow. When did he say that, Vicky? I didn't see that. Man. But I'm going to tell you this. Everybody who's listening to me now know that I've been on top of this for over a month. I saw it. And I'm like, if If you ever been on a team with really good players playing at a high level, which I have, keep your mouth shut and go play. I was never the best player on my team. Never. I fulfilled an important role that was valuable to winning. I was respected, but I tried to be quiet and just go out and do my job. Whatever my job was, I tried to do my job. If it was setting a pick, I set a pick. The most visible talent that I had was rebounding. I was a great rebounder. And I was a good defender, but I was still quiet. Wow. Like I said before, I didn't even hear that comment, Vicky, but if Draymond said that internally, again, you can only imagine what's going on internally. I remember the last game in Houston, I saw Buddy Hield yelling at Pods coming out of a timeout. I said, damn, Buddy Hield just got here. Why would he feel emboldened to do that? But that just kind of lets you know that something needed to be done. Why was Pods the only guy on the team who couldn't be benched? Buddy Hield's been benched. Lindy Waters been benched. Moody's been benched. Draymond's been taken out of the starting lineup. There's a lot of things behind the scenes, folks. I think Pod should go to the G League for a week or so. No, I don't think so. I don't think that will help him, because I don't think that his problem or his challenge is really skill related. I think it is his ego related. It's not understanding the elephant in the room. You are a role player. That's what you are. You are a really smart player that has some ability, but you got a long way to go. JJ Redick didn't even play his first 3 or 4 years in the NBA. Did not even get off the bench. I mean, Pod should be mowing Steve Kerr's lawn every week. I don't even know if he has any grass. Washing his car or whatever. You don't get opportunities like Pod's got. Tremendous opportunities. When you get those opportunities, you take advantage of them like he did. You keep your mouth shut and you do your job. You don't have conversations with referees. You don't make a call and go to the bench, challenge. Nah, dude, just go do your job. The Warriors' home record needs to be better than 7-6. I agree with you. You're absolutely right. You ain't told one lie. Vicky says, what do you think of the ref situation? Do you think they are a problem or just the Warriors talking? Yeah, I mean, by and large, I don't think the refs are a problem. I think that what took place in Houston was atrocious and embarrassing. And Steve Kerr had every right to be livid because the Warriors got screwed. They did get screwed. Holiday smacked Curry on the forearm. The Warriors were up like 5 or 6 at that point, I think. If Curry goes to the line and makes all 3 free throws, makes 2, the Warriors are up 8 with what, 2-3 minutes to go? They're not losing that game. And then, I mean, was there contact with Kuminga? Yeah. But you don't have to call that. The guy was looking at the referee calling timeout right away. He could have called timeout. In the same breath, GP2 could have just held the ball. I'm not quite sure what he was trying to do. So I don't like to lean heavily on the referees in terms of deciding wins and losses, but that was atrocious. That was terrible. Do I think there's a ref problem? I'm not ready to say that yet. Key says, it's sad to see Pods and TJD take a step back this year. I thought for sure being on the Olympic practice team would have helped them. Maybe it made them heads, egos bigger. Okay, let me say this. Again, Keys, who was the first one talking about Jackson Davis playing soft? It was me. I broke his game down. I told you, I was like, yo, this dude ain't playing physical basketball. With that said, when Trace Jackson Davis got benched a couple of games, the last 2 games, he's played very well. He's played aggressively, and I'm proud of that kid. Because somebody got in his ear and said, yo, dude, this is your career. He played good against Houston, and I thought he played aggressively tonight. So, second-year guy trying to figure it out. I'm still riding with him. I think he's going to be fine. But he needs to understand this is the NBA. It's go time. It's go time all the time. As I said before, I got a saying. You can play bad, you can't play soft. Not in this league. As a big guy, you can play bad, you cannot play soft. You can't. It's unacceptable. Oh, Draymond said that after the last loss. Wow. After last, yeah. Man, that's telling. Which is probably why he played 16 minutes tonight. And not his normal 28 to 30. Steve-O! What's up? Get my glasses, man. Let's see this. What's your take on Campbell? A B is a B is a B. I stuck up for him all year by myself. I'm gonna ask you a question. I'm gonna get some more people in here after I kind of clean the board for a minute. Thoughts on Curry going off for the refs during the game tournament or whatever it was called? Okay. Glendosha says, "What's good, Frank? Maintain. How you doing, brother? I would like some bigs that you think the Warriors should go after. Dunleavy is doing a great job acquiring talent. If he could pull off a decent big trade, we could make a run." Okay. Starting Hill and Curry was OT was like we're playing 3-on-5 on defense. Don't understand Curry's thinking against a high-powered offense like the Mavericks. We lost the game in the first quarter. Yeah, that's true. All right. I'm gonna start with Campbell because I didn't want to come out and just kind of give it to you right away. I'm gonna give you my take on this. All right. I want everybody to listen clearly. What Campbell did was unconscionable. It was wrong. It should not happen. Now, from a coach's perspective, because this has not been acknowledged, did Kyle Shanahan personally go up to DeVondre Campbell and say, "Listen, DeVondre, we love you. Your contribution to this team has been invaluable this year. Thank you. I can't explain enough how valuable you are to this team. But with that said, Dre Greenlaw is healthy now, and I think he gives us the best chance to win, so I'm going to start him. I'm not saying that this is the right decision, but this is the decision that I'm going to make as a head coach. I need you to ride with me. Are you good? You have a reason to be upset. Are you good? Can I depend on you? That was not disclosed. If that happened and DeVondre pulled off his act, then I have even less respect for him as a professional. But emotionally, I think he deserved that. Steve Kerr always talks about, yeah, I talked to such and such before the game that he wasn't going to start tonight. He wasn't going to play. Why? Because it's a delicate situation. I don't think that's asking too much. I don't think it is. Now, most professionals don't need that. They don't need that. Know why? Because the moments leading up to that point in which they had to deal with adversity has prepared them to deal with those tough moments. I don't know what DeVondre's history is. I don't know. Nobody knows, unless you do, because I don't know. His thinking at that point was completely irrational. But human beings do irrational things all the time. And then you take a step back and you say to yourself, what was I thinking? I'm willing to give him that moment and that space and show him some empathy. Do I feel sorry for him? No. Was he wrong? Yes. But as a coach, I'm thinking about all of those things. I don't know if Kyle Shanahan did that. The other thing is, if he saw Fred Warner hugging Dre Greenlaw, yo, that was a hug that you give your brother. That was a message that says, dude, I'm glad you back. We need you. I think Campbell felt like an outsider from the start. He didn't play all that well this year, but he was not atrocious either. And yet, he took a lot of shots this year. From the media, podcasters, network. He took a lot of shots. He's second on the team in tackles. And what happens in this space, this podcasting space, is you get a couple of people who jump on air and they straddle that line between, I'm going to talk about football and I'm going to talk about this person from a personal perspective. I'm going to get personal with him or her. That's not right. You can't be a guy or a girl who couldn't make your third grade kickball team and disrespect athletes on air. You can't do that. I don't have any respect for that. You guys have listened to me for a long period of time. I never get personal with athletes. Never. I keep it what it is. It's about the game. I don't make personal attacks about people. The 49ers wanted to riddle this down to, work for hire, which is what it was. There was not, I don't believe that there was ever a arm around this guy and welcome to the community. It was a 1-year deal. They were not going to re-sign him this year. After this year, he was gone. And he's been biting his tongue the whole season, taking shots. Tell me somebody on the defense who's taking more shots than DeVondre Campbell. I'll wait. The answer is nobody. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to tell you that it's plausible that emotionally he was so hurt that his thinking was irrational. Nobody would make a decision like that. if you thought this was your brothers and your sisters and your family. I don't think he felt that way. At that particular moment, he did not feel that way. I also think that the onus was on the 49ers and the coaches, his position coach, more importantly, Kyle Shanahan, because he called the shots, to say, yo, DeVondre, we love you, dude. We love you. We appreciate you. But I want to tell you man to man, before the game even starts, I want to see if you're good. Because if you're not good, then maybe we have another decision to make. Because we need everybody. If I call on you to go in the game, can I depend on you? Did that conversation happen? We don't know. I haven't heard. And the only reason why I bring it up is because if you go to the press conference after and the reporter or the person asked Kyle Shanahan, it might have been Larry Krueger. I just saw it on ESPN. To the extent, were you shocked when he didn't go in the game? Yeah, it was third quarter. I was shocked. I didn't even know anything about it. If that is the case, it's logical for you and I to infer that that conversation did not happen at the start of the game. It should have happened. Now, I know you're saying to yourself right now, Red, I go to work every day and there's stuff that go on at my job that I don't like, and I still got to show up and go to work. Guess what? I do the same thing. I'm just like you. But what you can't do, what you should not do, is you should never compare somebody else to your level of integrity. I don't compare other people to me. No one has a higher level of integrity than me. I don't know what his level of commitment to the team is. I have no idea. What I am doing is creating a full picture of conversation. It's not as cut and dry as most people would like you to think that it is. It's not. Most people who do this, content providers who talk about sports or talk about any topic, they're checking the likes, man. If I say this, I'm going to lose subscribers. They're going to hate me. I'm not going to make as much money. You know what this is for me? This is a very expensive hobby. I don't make a dime. And I don't care. So for the people who support me, this is the real me. I can have a conversation that may or may not be popular, but it's going to be balanced. DeVondre Campbell's contract, for the most part, is guaranteed. The 49ers don't want him to make more money. It's shameful for me to think that another team would sign him. But that's how bloodthirsty the NFL is. 80 to 90% of his contract is guaranteed. $5 million. This might be some signing bonus stuff. Maybe he'll, the real issue with him is, will he ever play in the NFL again? And it really doesn't matter to me. I'm not a fan. I'm not a super fan of DeVondre Campbell. I would have to have some long conversations with him about what transpired in San Francisco, because it's not as cut and dry as we are led to believe. It's not. Everybody failed. And at that moment, DeVondre Campbell failed miserably. But we all failed. Think of the time in your life when you had to come through and for whatever reason you didn't, or you did. Let me ask you a question. What is the difference between Scottie Pippen telling Phil Jackson, I'm not going back into the game, because the play that you designed, you ran it for Tony Kukoc and not for me. So trick this. I'm not going back in the game, coach. I'm the best player on the team. I've done this stuff the whole season. And now you're going to call a play for Kukoc and not me? I'm going to sit this one out, coach. What happens? They run the play. Kukoc makes the shot and the Bulls win. Scottie Pippen gets egg on his face. He realizes that in his time, in his moment, to really stand up and be the best teammate that he could be, he failed. But it didn't define him as a person or as a basketball player. You might think of that when you think of Scottie Pippen. I don't think, that's not the first thing I think of. It's part of his journey. It was a learning experience. Why is this so different? I'm just saying, DeVondre Campbell made a horrific mistake. It's the third rail of sports. But leading up to that point, I'm asking, were certain things done? Based on the knowledge that we have about this story, we cannot unequivocally say, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they came to him at the beginning of the game. Forget about the beginning of the game, in the locker room, yesterday. Because if I'm the coach, and I tell you man to man, listen, we care about you, we love you, we understand the contributions you made, but we're going to go with Drake Greenlaw because he gives us the best chance to win. Can you accept that? If you tell me you can't accept that, I'm not even letting you suit up. I'm not going to wait until the third quarter and then have you go in when I've been around you the whole year, when emotionally you might not be with us at that point. The other thing about the 49ers is this. You got a lot of players who are probably outraged that a teammate let them down. And guess what? They have a right to be outraged. There's a large percentage of those players that beyond this season will never play for the 49ers again. They're going to be cut. Never to be seen again. It's a business. So while I think, I get the brotherhood, the emotion, but this is the NFL. It's different. It's not the same. That's my take on it. All right, look at some of your comments. You said, Steve-O says, Lynch came from the booth after finding out that when he said no, Lynch kicked him off the field. I mean, man. Listen, Lynch's resume speaks for itself. He had every right to be outraged, right? But again, if Lynch was outraged, it was a breakdown in communication because he had a linear view of what should happen. You go to work and you perform and that's it. This issue was more complicated than that. Do you think that DeVondre Campbell would have done that to Andy Reid? I don't think so. You think he would have done that to Mike Tomlin? I don't think so. John and Jim Harbaugh? I don't think so. I don't think so. There are other coaches also. Even Mike McDaniel appears to have kind of a different perspective on dealing with athletes and players. DeVondre Campbell deserved to have a heartfelt conversation. Not in the third quarter, not after the game, before the game even started. How about on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever? It should not have gotten to that point without having a full scope of where this guy's head was. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I mean, we're having a discussion. Tell me where I'm wrong. Because I think that there is not equal responsibility, but I think the 49ers didn't do everything that they could have done to avoid this if they didn't talk to him? We don't know, and I don't know, because we haven't heard those conversations. Those questions have not been asked yet. Clearly, John Lynch didn't have that conversation because he was outraged. But did Shanahan have it? I don't know. Lindosha says, what a great speech from Travis Hunter. Where do you think he gets drafted? And what position do you think he will play in the NFL? As good as Travis Hunter's speech was, his mother's speech is better. What a family. What a incredible young man. Great player. Hopefully New England. I would love to see him and Gonzalez hooking up. He's a DB. To me, he's a DB, shutdown corner. And I got to schedule 20 offensive plays per game for him. But he's a DB. He's a shutdown corner. He's a difference maker. Rod Woodson type of player. Yeah, New England is where I would like for him to go and play for Gerard Mayo. Campbell did it in JUCO also. Okay. So it goes back to my point, Steve-O. The 49ers panicked. Was he the right guy for this organization? No. They wanted Hendricks. They wanted Hendricks, who decided to go to Dallas and play for his old coach. That's the guy that they wanted. He had a pick today, helping Dallas beat Carolina. They panicked, and they didn't do enough due diligence. You know, they didn't shake the trees enough. They got a guy that maybe they didn't know as well, and they got stuck with him. And it wasn't like he didn't try. He tried, and he had some good games. But in a time in which he had to deal with adversity mentally in the best possible way, he didn't do it. But you kind of know. The Golden State Warriors, they kind of know. Certain players can't play for the Warriors because you got to play for Kerr. You're going to have to deal with adversity. And the expectation is you're going to deal with it in the most professional way. I don't think that every human being is going to deal with adversity in the same way. It's absurd to think that in a sports context, simply because you're making a lot of money, that's going to be the deciding factor, because it's not. I'm going to give everybody an experiment. And I'm sure that we have a lot of people listening to the program now who make a hell of a lot more money than I do. But I'm not poor. But check this out. When you look at a salary, or if you have your own business, you go, you know what? I would love to make $100,000 a year. I would love to make $50,000 a year. Whatever your number is. When you get to your number and you start making that number, it doesn't mean as much anymore. The $5 million player is looking at the $9 million player and saying, damn, I'm underpaid. All you wanted to do was make $5 million. There has to be some type of study about that. But I've experienced it myself. Not in terms of effort, but in terms of like, I thought it would be incredible to make $5,000 in one day from the stock market by picking a stock myself. And there have been times in which I made $5,000 in one day. Is that crazy? Coming from where I come from, that's crazy. And then I've lost $3,000 or $4,000 because it didn't mean. At some point, the money doesn't matter. So for fans and people out there to think that DeVondre Campbell's irrational behavior was somehow going to be connected to the money that he's made, That's not human. That's not how humans are wired. All humans. Some would be like, be damn my feelings. I'm not giving up $500,000. That's like when we hear people say that making the Emirates Cup in Vegas, in which all the players get $500,000, that doesn't matter. Yeah, it does matter to some of them. To some it doesn't, because there's enormity around it. But the competition matters. To some. To some it doesn't. Steve-O says, both back-to-back 12 men on the field was cause dude didn't want to come off. Oh, okay. Off the field. Yeah, but I said before, did they have that conversation with him before the game or on Wednesday or Tuesday? Did Shanahan talk to him personally? I think he deserved that. Tell me I'm wrong. I hate what Campbell did, but he might need help playing in the NFL for 10 years. He might have brain trauma because he threw everything away for really no reason. No, he was hurt. No, he was hurt. He was hurt, I believe. Now, if he tells me that he wasn't, and he just did it just because, then, okay, we'll go with that. But I think he was hurt. He lost $600K as they would suspend him. Well, he's not going to lose that much, Steve-O, because of the signing bonus. A lot of his money is guaranteed in signing bonus. He's going to lose money. I mean, maybe it is $600,000 because he made $300 per game. They got three games left. Yeah, you might be right. You might be right. I mean, I'm not losing $600K. I'm not, because I'm not starting. I'm not doing that. But I've been dealing with adversity my whole life. I can process the situation better than maybe he could. Everybody's not the same. I had wet eyes when listening to Hunter's speech. What a great kid. I think he will go number 2 or 3 in the draft. Yeah, Vicky. I was overwhelmed with emotion listening to his mom and him. It's one of the great stories that we've seen. Scotty, they also did him wrong on contract, if I remember correctly. Well, no, they didn't do him wrong. They wouldn't renegotiate his contract. Michael, you watched The Last Dance. Michael and even the owner allegedly told him, Scotty, do you really want to sign a long-term contract like this? They were like, yo, dude, don't sign this contract. That was on him. Allegedly, he was upset that they didn't renegotiate his contract. But how did they do him wrong? He signed the contract. They didn't force that down his throat. Scotty, my favorite player growing up. Yeah, great player, one of the best. And he didn't go in the game when the coach said go in. Don't bring other coaches into what Campbell did. Sounds like blaming Cal. No. We don't know what he done to any other coaches. He basically did it to Green Bay. No, and that's what I want you to listen carefully. From the start of the conversation, I said that he was wrong. He didn't handle that situation better. And I also said that I'm a coach. All coaches are different. I am a coach. If I was coaching the 49ers in that situation, I would have had a conversation with him. That's not absurd. It's not unreasonable. It's different coaching styles. I'm not blaming Cal. I'm saying that had that happened, this might have been avoided. I'm not blaming Kyle. It kind of, what it does is it kind of says, and Kyle might have talked to him on Wednesday. We don't know. But that should be a part of the conversation. Would you agree with that or no? Jim would have killed him with his hands if Campbell did that to his team. I don't think he would have did to everybody, personally. I don't think he would have. I don't think so. Any thoughts on Caitlin Clark controversy? Keith, I was thinking about you when I was driving around the other day, and I'm going to tell you why. You might be going, damn, yeah, I was thinking about you. Campbell makes more money than Purdy. Yeah, he does. Not for long. That's why Purdy is asking for the bag. He's the most important player getting paid the least time for the Niners to pay. 40 to 50 million. I'm not paying him more than 50 million. I'm not. Haven't seen Hunter's speech yet. Yeah, look it up. It's great. I need to hear Hunter's speech as well. He's amazing. Yeah. So is his mother, man. His mother's amazing. His mother is awesome. When Campbell signed up, he was a temp to hire. 10 out of 11 months till Greenlaw came back. Yes. Totally agree with you. That still doesn't mean that he wasn't worthy of a conversation and some heartfelt emotion about what he's done for the 49ers this year, in spite of being paid. You know? I don't think it's too much to ask, personally. I don't think it is. Would I have been upset as a coach when a player didn't uphold his responsibility or her responsibility? Absolutely. But to be reflective as a coach in a sensitive situation like that, I would have talked to him before the game started. I would have talked to him on Wednesday because knowing him, and you guys are talking about him having gone through some of these trials and tribulations and not dealing with adversity in the best way in the past. It makes even more sense that, yo, this is a different cat. I need to make sure that this is good. I don't think that happened. I think it should have happened. Lost the game either way, though. Yeah. It almost overshadows what a horrible decision that was by Purdy to throw the ball in the triple coverage to God knows who. Jennings had no shot in hell of making that catch. The game is 9-6. You're already in field goal range. But Campbell buried that story. And this is a guy who won $60 million? Nope. All right. I didn't read the article about Caitlin Clark yet, but I think the essence of the article, and tell me I'm wrong, as she was named Woman Athlete of the Year by Sports Illustrated or Time, I'm not quite sure. But essentially, she said that the league needs to promote more of the black players, the black women players. Is that it? Help me out, Keith. If she said that, she's not being woke. She's being empathetic of her peers. She's feeling some of the pain that some of these young ladies are feeling. I think it's great, but I need to read the article. You know, I really need the article. But I love Caitlin Clark being inclusive and cognizant of the conversations that are happening in a league that has instantly made her a multi-millionaire. She's not the best player in the league. She's not the best player in the league, but she's by far the most popular player in the league. Why is that? Why is that? Do we just brush over that? I'm a big Caitlin Clark fan. I am. But I'm happy that she is starting to recognize that, you know what, it ain't about me. It's about us. It's not about me. It's about us. And all of the Caitlin Clark fans who don't want or who are not capable of recognizing some of the broader issues, open your eyes. Open your eyes. She's one of the most important players in the league, maybe the most important player, but she can't play by herself. And there's some wonderful women in this league who have positioned the WNBA for a player like Caitlin Clark and everybody else to benefit mightily. The young ladies who are in the union striving to get better benefits. Now tell me if I'm wrong, because I didn't read the article. I just read like the headlines, but I think I know the essence of the article. Tell me if I'm wrong. Did Kerr get fined for going off on the refs? Not yet. And that was telling also, because he might get fined, but it also says that, you know what, referees, we screwed this up. Even though we're going to come out and say that you made the right call to save your integrity, this was not good. This was a bad look. So I don't know if Kerr's going to get fined or not. He might not get fined because that was so egregious. Well, if someone would have held on to the ball and made a touchdown, the 49ers might have won the game. Who are you talking about? Vicky? Laugh out loud. That's why you don't touch a kicker with the yips. They are contagious. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, man. Karma is something else, isn't it, Vicky? Debo should be quiet, lose some weight, and come back and have a great year. I don't think he's cooked. I don't think so. If you guys, if I say things that you think are totally off base and wrong, then speak to that. Or if you think that I'm right, then you can speak to that also. Otherwise, I'm drawing my own conclusions. I don't have all the answers, but I can build a thesis, and I do try to have a broad perspective on things. All right. Here's the fun part of the show for me. One of the best movies that I've seen all year is called Day of the Fight, starring Michael C. Pitt. Now, obviously, when you hear a name Michael C. Pitt, you think that he is somehow related to Brad Pitt, but he's not. A brilliant actor who is going to be a star. I mean, he got star written all over him. He is phenomenal. The director and writer of the movie is a gentleman by the name of Jack Houston. He's the grandson of John Houston, the famous movie. I forgot the name of the movie. But Angelica Houston is his aunt or somebody. This dude comes from a real strong lineage of Hollywood elite. So did he have some privilege in this industry? Hell yeah, he has some privilege in this industry. Did he do the work? Yes, he did do the work. Is he a brilliant director? Yes. Did he make a piece of art that's going to stand the test of time? Yes. Should we all watch it? Should everybody watch this movie? Absolutely. Now, this is a fairly young director with connections, but not a lot of notoriety. He was able to get the great Ron Perlman in his movie. Nicolette Robinson, a black actress who played the love affair of Michael C. Pitt. They had a child together. She's outstanding. Joe Pesci executive produced this movie. And basically, what I wrote down was this movie is about forgiveness, triumph, and redemption. It's shot in black and white, kind of like that Bronx Tale type of feel to it. What a great movie. And it's essentially about a boxer who has not been in the ring in a long time. He has one shot, to change the lives of the people that he loves. It's at Madison Square Garden. And it's riveting, it's emotional, and it's a simple story that we can all relate to. So if you are a movie fan like I am and you like a great story, go watch this movie. I think it's well worth your time. Day of the Fight, starring Michael C. Pitt. All right. Vicky says, you are very fair in your comments about teams. Thank you. I appreciate you. Outside thinking is good, but arguing with the same fan base seems to be the norm. I'm not quite sure I know what that means. Outside thinking, got that. All right, y'all. This has been an interesting show. It's been a lot of fun for me, and I appreciate you all listening. Hit me up on X at Big Frank Red. Follow me on X if you don't already follow me. Maybe you don't do social media. I don't know. Promote the show. Help me promote it. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the show. All of that stuff. And let's move forward. It is a pleasure and an honor to have this platform to speak to things that are of interest to me. It's a great diversion. It really is from what I do actually on the regular, which is requires a lot more work. So I want to thank you for giving me this platform and giving me an opportunity to talk to you. Vicky says, thanks, Frank. I hit the button. I appreciate y'all. All right. I'm going to do my thing and get out of here. Hit the like button, please. Subscribe to the show. All right. Success in getting paid is a manifestation of the whole process. If you as an individual don't do things to help other people make their lives better, as far as I'm concerned, you haven't done nothing. Have a great week. Maybe I'll pop in at some point. If not, I'll be back on next Sunday night, next week. Be safe. We're getting closer to Christmas and Hanukkah and maybe some other holidays that you might celebrate. Have a peaceful and loving week, and I'll talk to everybody later. All right? I'm Frank Red. Good night, everybody. Peace.